moving into your Little Dreams release when you're independent, like after leaving a record label, were there any key experiences that you took that made you feel more confident about doing an independent release?
Definitely. I learned so much, and I'm super grateful for what they told me and what they showed me, and the traveling and the experience. And so, yes, I mean, even though there was a break and there was a fork in the road, they had been journeying with me this whole time in my music career. And so I learned basically everything about the music industry during that time. So yeah, I'm still like a little baby as an indie artist. So I'm now learning that.
But I'm sure it felt liberating to be an independent artist.
You know, it's funny. It felt very liberating and then extremely scary. And this is where Bumper Collective has just been amazing, because here I was leaving the record label. And as I mentioned, the biggest thing is finance. You know, how are you going to pay for an album and make it well and make it yours? And so Spencer came to me, and we chatted for a while. But I'll say this: it became liberating and amazing. But there was this period where I was like lying in my bed, like every day I would like have to like force myself out of bed, because I'm like, what did I do? Am I insane? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, that's awesome. So kind of having these key partnerships like, Bumper Collective, and were there any other key partnerships that kind of like got you, hitting the ground running again?
Exactly. Yeah. There's an incredible company called Tone Tree, and Tone Tree is a distributing company that obviously does the putting your music on Apple Music and Spotify and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But they also have great partnerships with Spotify and with Apple Music, and so with playlisting. And so I've had some really good playlist ads thanks to my company Tone Tree. So it's been great.
Going into Little Dreams, you had some really creative marketing ideas, from Homeland having an Instagram project honoring the troops, Brave New Step, you had a slideshow of fans thanking medical professionals fighting COVID-19. So what were the inspirations behind these projects?
Well, I struggle a lot with thinking about my music and myself, and I'm so afraid of what people think of me, right? And to a fault, where I'm just, and maybe everybody is, I think sometimes in particular, I am just like deathly worried about like what everyone thinks about me. And so when you stop doing that and you look around and you go like, what is this music for? It's for the people that I'm performing for. Like, art is not art until it has the artist, but then the listener or the viewer. And so it's really a gift for them, and it's not about you. And so when I wrote Homeland, which is about people being brave and leaving their home for the sake of the good that they've left, protecting that, whether it be, I talk about Lord of the Rings for Homeland, like it's kind of the Frodo story, like saving the world, but also, thinking of people in the military. And so it was such a gift to have listeners. They all sent in pictures of either themselves or their loved ones in uniform. And all of a sudden it wasn't about me, it was about us, and then the same with the COVID-19 slideshow, where it was so cool because listeners all over the world made these beautiful posters from, I always joke, like Brazil and, Zimbabwe, Poland, like all over the place. And I say, like even as exotic as Wisconsin, I was like, wow.
It's pretty.
Wisconsin, I think, is the most exotic place. I've only been there once, but it is so interesting. I love you, anyone listening from Wisconsin. So yeah, and then all of a sudden it was about the healthcare workers, and it wasn't about me worried about what people were thinking about me. And it's like, life is so much better when you don't do that. So anyway, so that's what those are about.
I love that. And so do you find yourself being more hands-on and creative with these marketing side projects as an independent artist?
Oh yes, definitely. I everything that I do now it's like they're all my little babies, my little dreams. They
literally.
Yeah, literally. I have so much ownership, and so it is, there's a huge difference when, and two, this when you get signed as a teenager, being a teenager, you're kind of like rebelling against even what you did. So I was always kind of like, oh, okay, I have to do this, even though it was such a great job and such a great life. And now this is something that I chose to be an independent artist for myself. And now I love it. So I'm much more invested.
I absolutely love that. An important component of an artist's income is live shows and merchandise sales. So how have you seen your private gigs and merch sales change since the Little Dreams release?
Ooh, yeah. Well, it's hard to tell you that without COVID-19 being such a big part. So I released Little Dreams on March 27th.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, isn't that terrible? It's so sad. So, no, but you know what? I think about it is that, I don't know if you've heard Taylor Swift's Folklore album yet, but I will take away from 2020 that was such a gift. And, we're stuck at home. We're getting restless. This has been happening for a long time. And I think my album came when everyone was at home, and it's a lot about being brave. It's a lot about having the ability to pivot when things change. And so as much as I would love to have said that we went on this long tour, I mean, we were supposed to go to Germany and play, and there's a lot of plans that changed. So yes, but actually beautifully enough, we had all the merch ready for the tour, and a lot of people were buying online, which was super cool. So, and we're doing some small private shows, outdoor things, and kind of social distance shows, but it's not the same. So I'm kind of thinking of it as like, March 2021 is a Little Dreams tour.
Oh yeah. And we're there.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's so interesting to see how so many different artists are taking different paths of, during COVID, right? Like there's no guidebook of how to be an artist during a pandemic. So it's been really, really cool to see how creative like you and other artists have been of still being like connected to fans. So like since going independent, how have you changed the way you engage with your fans, and how have they been responding to you differently?
Certainly, yeah. It's really cool because you get to know who's really listening when you have to, first of all, choose how you're going to market, because you can't just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, which is more of a record label mentality, and they have the finances to do that. And they're juggling, right? They have a lot of different artists, and they have their pattern that they've been doing forever. But then when you're by yourself or you have a team, what's so cool is that I had this incredible team like that made Little Dreams happen. It wasn't just me in my bedroom, writing songs. I mean, it started there, but just between Tone Tree, Bumper Collective, I had a great PR company, Missing Piece. I have an amazing manager, Ellie Tate. And so it's like all this stuff had to happen, right? It takes a village, but in the end it felt so mine. And I think the fans, the listeners can tell. And they also, and that they're engaged because I don't know, they're responding. And I think they just see the authenticity. So that's the long answer.
That's cool. No, I love that. Now, going to the original question, what did you learn from this independent release and from Little Dreams, and what do you like and are going to use moving forward?
Yeah, so I loved it. I think what I learned about Little Dreams is actually to even be more bold with where I want to go, because this is like by far the most Marie Miller thing ever that I've done, and it's been amazing. But I think I actually was slightly timid. And you can kind of hear it in the songs. Like the songs are, Little Dreams is about this. It's about this man that was super mean to me about music and was like you can't do this, and nobody cares. And we've always had that. There's always that person in your life that is just a jerk. And I'm learning not to listen to those people, and it's a process, and I'm not perfectly I'm not perfect at it at all. But I think I've gotten better through this process of making Little Dreams. So I think the next album might have even a little more girl power in
I
it.
love it. I love it. And I think that's really cool because if, whether it's an actual person or little voices in our head, the fact that you actually did it, right? That is physical proof that you have the confidence to release something on your own. And I absolutely love that story. I think that's really cool. You can always fall back on that if anything moving forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think we love to feel, which is great. Feelings are awesome, but there's also that willpower to go, hey, I don't have to feel brave today. I am brave, and I'm going to make this happen. So